Peace to the gods and the goddesses of the nation, of the land, and of all creation. I hope everybody doing well. Hope you blessed in a positive mood and spreading that impact on everyone that you come in contact with. Family, I'm not even gonna say nothing, man. I had to smoke a big blunt before I did this. Because in no shape or form, man, am I pro putting one of my brothers in a place. In no shape or form do I want to attack young Pharaoh. I don't have no beef with young Pharaoh. Personally, I got a beef with the shit that he teaching, but I don't got no beef with him personally. I believe that genuinely in his heart when he started his shit, started his his platform, I believe that he did have the betterment of the African diaspora in his thoughts and in his heart. As far as now, I can't say the same thing. I cannot be an honest person and sit up here and tell you that young Pharaoh has goodness in his heart because of the actions that I have seen him taking over the past 2 years. So I cannot in my heart say that this man is not selling out. I want to say that he's not selling out, but I cannot bring myself to be able to say that young Pharaoh is selling, that young Pharaoh is not selling out. Why? Because there's too many signs that young Pharaoh has showed me at this point in time. And the messed up thing about it is when everybody used to go at young Pharaoh, everybody used to try to bomb him from Polite to Sinetta to the Muslims like RZA and all of those people, from the Amin Ra squad to to everybody who's ever came at Pharaoh sideways. I've always been one of these platforms that has always rolled with young Pharaoh and respected what he said, and I was riding with young Pharaoh. But on this case, family, I cannot ride with young Pharaoh. And I want you guys to listen to me when I say this perfectly clear. If you've noticed with young Pharaoh, where the hell is General Seti? Where is General Seti? We've seen Pharaoh give little references to General Seti, but I haven't seen General Seti and young Pharaoh all this year, to be honest with you. What is this telling you about them? Because to me, before I even knew about young Pharaoh, I knew about General Sarasut Seti, and not always consider him a leader. Why? Because monetary gains will not get Seti. Money will not get Seti. Of course, every black man wants to make his money, but General Seti is not gonna sell out. Look how many times his page this done got banned it from YouTube. He's done got banned it from all of these other platforms and things of that nature. Why? Because monetary gains is not gonna keep Seti from telling the truth. But it's seeming like right now that monetary gains is what's keeping Pharaoh talking about Trump. Now, in this little video that I'm about to give you guys, I'm just about to run through a few things to further along my proof that not only is Pharaoh being used and leading the people into the lion's mouth, but it's still going to further evidence that Trump does not give a fuck about black people. And I'm tired of having to keep reiterate this and regurgitate this in every video that I do, but I keep seeing videos being posted up by either young Pharaoh or somebody who's in promotion of young Pharaoh feed the African diaspora lies. Is that what you really want, brother? You really want all of your people to be able to walk down into the lion's mouth and be in his belly? Is that what you want? Well, too bad, because I'm not about to let you do that. I refuse to let you or any black representative sit up here and feed our people lies and have them blinded by truth that's sitting right there in their face. Not anything else that you're saying. I'm talking about Trump. Now you sit up here and act like Trump has this whole fucking infatuated with helping black people out. But in this slide right here, which I will tell you, will prove to you and whoever following your ass that this motherfucker don't give a fuck about you. And while you sitting up here leading all of us astray, well, not me, because it's only the people who follow you, but while you leading your followers astray, he's sitting up there in the back of his office laughing at your dumb ass. Slide 1. Deferred action for childhood arrivals. This is what they drew up. With due respect for the executive branch, we disagree. The government may not simultaneously both assert that its actions are legally compelled based on its interpretation of the law and avoid review of that assertion by the judicial branch whose province and duty it is to say what the law is, basically telling you we don't give a fuck if Obama was the president. Just because he said it, it wasn't right. Which is true in all actuality, but when it in this circumstances, Obama was right. And upon review, we conclude that plaintiffs are likely to succeed on their claim that the rescission of the DACA, at least as justified on this record, is arbitrary, capricious, and otherwise not in accordance with law. We therefore affirm the district court's grant of preliminary injunctive relief. Basically, they pleading for the courts to knock this shit out the box. The DACA program, which Obama launched in 2012, offers undocumented immigrants who were brought to the United States as children the ability to live and work in the United States without fear of deportation, meaning that the people who were brought here as kids and was raised in America, indoctrinated in American lives, and grew up to be American citizens and led American lives were not, in Trump's eyes, good enough to even be here. They shouldn't be here. When in all actuality, you're sending these women and children back to a country where they could be kidnapped, sold into sex slaves, and who knows what else. This is what you want? This is the man that you supporting? Ability to work in the United States without fear of deportation. Trump announced he was ending the DACA program in September 2017. Though the program has remained in place thus far amidst a host of ongoing lawsuits fighting its termination. And if you know that at this time where this article was written, he done went through with that. We seen when he first came in office how many children, mothers, fathers he had locked up in facilities saying that they were illegal aliens, and some of these people had jobs. You know how the economy took a dive after all of those Spanish people that he kept from out of the country and deported with ICE and all of these other organizations? This is what you want? If you Spanish and you watching Young Pharaoh, this is what you want? This is the things that you okay with? Some of your family members that's good people, that's law-abiding citizens get deported just because of something that happened when they was babies? Another slide. In May 2018, Trump withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal, a 2015 agreement negotiated by Obama's administration. The multi-country deal lifted some of the economic sanctions. If you know what economic sanctions is, being you can't trade with this certain country, you can't get help from this certain country, it's all about money. Agreement negotiated by the Obama's administration. The multi-country deal lifted some of the economic sanctions on Iran in exchange for what? For increased regulations on this nuclear program. Basically telling you that Obama put sanctions in place for Iran, who was going through it with United States. in order for them to have some of their economic relief, such as help from food, shelter for kids, and stuff of that nature who really needed that help, they have to stop certain things with their nuclear plants and all of that and shut them down. We've seen all of this happen. If you know anything about the news, then you have seen this happen. We've seen this in front of our eyes when all of this was playing out. I'm just basically revisiting this so you can basically understand what I'm talking about. In exchange for increased regulations on this nuclear program, as the New York Times reported in announcing the United States departure from the agreement, Trump called it a horrible one-sided deal. So you mean to tell me, just because Obama was willing to help out children, help out mothers, and even fathers who were not terrorists, who were living good lives but couldn't get these type of aids because of their government and nuclear deals, that when Obama came into place in order to broker peace, he lifted some of the sanctions on their food and the resources that they could get if they agreed to limit their nuclear activity, something that could wipe out the entire world. You're supporting a man who's willing to go against that to help children out? But you talk about he's willing to sit up here and fight for women who's being sold as sex slaves and all of that, but he's willing to not only do this, but throw away immigrants who came into this country in order to send them back to a place where they're more vulnerable to be kidnapped and sold as sex slaves. Come on, man. We all know this about the Latin America. Come on. Many years ago, and this is true too, Dakota Access, along with several other companies, had sought to build an oil pipeline running through several states. The pipeline's construction prompted pushback from several groups, including who? Native Americans and environmentalists. In 2015, The Guardian reported that an Obama administration rejected a federal permit for construction of the pipeline, citing environmental concerns. Not only was it environmental concerns basically holding messing up the ozone layer. If you know anything about our ozone layer and you know anything about greenhouse effects, you know that when oil and pollution is pumped into it in the air, that you know that it creates an abundance of greenhouse effects. Greenhouse effects is good, but in some cases is wrong. Taking look in Venus, the planet who's right next to ours, our sister planet, who has an abundance of greenhouse effects to where the atmosphere can reach the level of 480 something degrees, melting everything that's in its path. So you mean to tell me that you are supporting a man who does not care about your environment to where he will permit companies who only thirsting for money to emit greenhouse effects inside of your atmosphere, everything that you have to breathe in order for them to get money, and in turn is ruining the earth that you live on? This the man that you're supporting? And not only that, the pipelines was going to take away from the people who land this really belongs to. If you know anything, which I'm pretty sure you do, about Columbus and all of the other Spanish conquerors who came here and wiped out the Native Americans and restricted them to land that was already theirs, but put them in little camps basically and called them the reservation, which are in on term FEMA camps, then you will know that those pipelines was going through the little bit of land that they have. This is what you're okay with? We sit up here and you can't, I just don't understand y'all people. You can't sit up here and say things like, oh, the Native Americans had this land first and white people came over here and took the land from them, but then support a person who's even putting them in more danger. Where's the logical sense in that? Where is the logical sense in that, young Pharaoh and young Pharaoh followers? If you think before you just jump on a bandwagon, you will understand this. In 2017, Trump reversed this decision, with the Department of State citing job creation as one of the reasons for permit approval. making jobs, when you taking homes. So what, you gonna employ all the people who you done made homeless? Come on, son. Which one is this? Oh yeah, here's another thing. And this should hit young Pharaoh in his heart, because what? You are a what? What are you, young Pharaoh? You're a felon. I am a felon. So this should already resonate with you. Federal prosecutors to charge and pursue the most serious ready. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I went past it. I think I don't went past it. Hold on. Hold on. It said federal prosecutors to charge and pursue the most serious. This is basically Jeff Sessions. If you know anything about Jeff Sessions, because it's apparent to me that I erased some of the capture that I wanted to give you guys. But let me give this to you, and if you think that I'm lying, you could go look it up for yourself. His name is Jeff Sessions. He was the secretary of what parts of Attorney General at that point in time, and he passed a law, him and Trump, to what? Make federal prosecutors to charge and pursue the most serious, readily provable offense against defendants. This move marked a stark deviation from the policies of Obama's Justice Department. As NPR reported, former Attorney General Eric Holder had particularly instructed prosecutors to avoid charging nonviolent drug offenders with crimes that required a mandatory minimum sentencing. Basically, what he was saying is he wants you to charge, if you're going to charge a person with drugs, make sure that the minimum that it's an option for them to not get no jail time. But in turn, Jeff Sessions, who was with the Trump campaign, voted for prosecutors to make crimes more punishable, more serious. Basically taking you back to what, young Pharaoh? The Patriot Law that was passed that had all of these drug dealers getting 9 to life, 5 to life. Everything with an L on the end. So this is the man that you are supporting, who's willing to take a person who may get caught with a dime bag of crack and give them the harshest charge that they could give them? And you, a person who's been struggling for years with your post release? Come on, where's the logical sense in this? Where's the logical sense? I don't get it. I don't see how you can overlook all of this shit. That what has me thinking that young Pharaoh be getting paid off. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos rescinded Obama-era guidelines on investigating campus sexual assaults. DeVos' decision once again provided colleges with more flexibility in how they handle sexual assault cases. Excuse me, including increasing the burden of proof necessary for determining whether a student is guilty of sexual assault. In November 2018, the New York Times reported DeVos released a draft of basically what she wants. Do you understand what that means? What was one of the main things that a lot of campus sexual assaults didn't get reported or were not heard of? Either the person, we see this with the schools, either they was sports academics, or they was, they family was donators to the school. So you mean to tell me that just because this person, dad or mother or whoever, donates all of this money to us and he rapes a girl on campus, do we have to we have to accept them overlooking it? Because this is exactly what that caused. If you are given some campuses, which we know are dirty, we've seen countless of scandals from the gymnastics girls getting raped, from the basketball, football players, sex and coaches and stuff, sexual assaulting women, and a bunch of other stuff with these campuses. So now you are making it more easy for these people to get away and charges not be brought up on them. This is the man that y'all support. Think about it. This is the man that you support. Family. Listen, in 2015, President Obama issued an executive order banning the transfer of certain types of military grade equipment to local police departments, martial law. And explaining his decision, the 44 president asserted, "We've seen how militarized gear can sometimes give people a feeling like there's an occupying force as opposed to a force that's part of the community that's protecting them and serving them. It can alienate and intimidate local residents and send the wrong message," which it did. You seeing police riding down in tanks, all blacks, militarized weapons and all of that. What's the first thing that's going to come to your mind? Martial law. But, pardon self, family, but in August 2017, Trump signed his own executive order rescinding Obama's order. At the time, CNN reported that then Attorney General Sessions told an audience of law enforcement officers, "The executive order the president will sign today will ensure that you can get the life-saving gear that you need to do your job and send a strong message that we will not allow criminal activity, violence, and all types of other things." So basically, you want to send a message. Basically, you want to put the people on edge and to scare innocent civilians of your wrath. So that's basically what they telling us, family. I don't even I, I don't understand. You get what I'm saying? In 2017, Trump officially ended an Obama era program that offered temporary residence to undocumented children from several countries in Central America if they already had a parent legally residing in the United States. 2,714 minors had already been pre-approved for the program when what? Trump shut it down. So, young Pharaoh, if you're so concerned, because I see one of the main reasons that you like, oh, I'm gonna support Trump, he's trying to end sex slave trafficking. Why would he do this when he know that Central America, South America is one of the lead places for what? Kidnappings and kids and women being sold into the sex market. But you support this, don't you? Where's the logical sense in that, bro? Where is the logical sense in that? How can you sit up here and ignore this? You get what I'm saying? I'm not even going to continue anymore, because this basic evidence right here alone should already tell y'all who fucking listening to young Pharaoh that's a whole bunch of bullshit that he's feeding you. Why? Because I truly hate to say it, but I truly believe in my heart that they are paying this man off to say this. Because the Pharaoh that I know from a few years ago wouldn't say no bonehead shit like that. He wouldn't. So, young Pharaoh, you need to tell the people what's up with you. Is it the money or is it your people? Because right now it's looking like it's strictly about the money. Because all countless in your videos, not hating on you, bro, because you know I get a little bit of money myself. I not from YouTube, but from my own business and from me working and doing what I need to do to provide for my family. That ways enables me to keep the light on and everything else. But I see you. So let me find out. Let me find out that that office that you keep telling everybody about with 1,000 books in it didn't come from good actions and good deeds. Put me on, brother, because there's no way in the world you should be supporting a man of this magnitude So
then
you
he's
are
all
another
for it.
par. You are